All right, you're welcome to our class of biology. I am the one, Caesar, Obudra, taking you through this topic. This is the production in plants for O level. And the last time we met, we were looking at ordination, and so we would like to continue with this topic, but this time around, after the process of after the process of fruit formation has occurred, fruit will be formed and also the seeds will be formed. So we would like to see, are the seeds similar to fruits and are they different? That is what we're going to start with. So let's, without waste of time, let's go into similarities between. Sure, I took you a little bit behind, but my interest is on the structural and functional similarities between seeds and fruits. That is what we are going to be looking at. So if we compare seeds and fruits, which are as a result of sexual reproduction in plants, you realize that both of them, okay, both of both seeds and the fruits have protective layers, and these layers have different names though. If we look at the protective layer in the seeds, it is called the seed coat, whereas the protective layer in the fruits it is called the pericarp. And these are very important because, I mean, the offering of the protection is very important because without offering protection to, let's, if we pick the seeds, then if the seeds gets destroyed before they have germinated to develop into a new fruit, then there's a challenge of the genes of this particular plant not being transmitted to the next generation, which can, if such kind of event occurs on a large scale on that particular type of plant, then I mean the plant will be said to have weakness in terms of survival. But because they have these seed coats that protects the inner content, most importantly, I can talk about the embryo and also the stored food, then these seeds will be able to get, I mean, these seeds will be able to survive mechanical damage, especially from animals, even human beings. And then for the fruits also, it is very important. There are some seeds whose, sorry, there are some fruits which have the seeds inside, I mean, at the center. Typical examples include, let's talk about the mango. Let's talk about the avocado. The seeds are inside. And so the protection offered by the pericarp also protects the seeds. Although there are some fruits which do not have seeds inside them, but still the fruit itself needs to be protected because it plays very important role in attracting, especially seed dispersers. If we pick examples of such fruits being the one for cashew nut, the cashew nut seed is not inside, it is outside, but the presence of the fruit, which protects the inner content of the fruit, also once the say attracts the dispersers, the seed will also at the same time get dispersed and it can go and germinate somewhere, thereby reducing, competition for resources, which resources particularly are the water, nutrients, and sunlight. That is it. That is the first structural uh, difference between seeds and fruits. Two, both seeds and the fruits contain stored nutrients. And these nutrients are very important because they will be used for the embryo to develop. And for the fruits, they store it to attract dispersers. I gave examples like the mango. You know, mango is sweet, and if it is ripened, it is really beautifully colored. That attracts the dispersers. And once the seeds, I mean, as the fruit, for example, mango is being dispersed, the seed also gets dispersed, conferring similar benefits to that particular plant. The stored food in the seed is very, very vital because if the storage, that store is small, then when the seed germinates, it may, okay, let's say it will be used up before the seed has germinated, before it has started to make its own food by photosynthesis. The seed will die, but if the store is large enough, then it will be able to sustain this seed, the seedling, up to the point when it has established its own leaves and it is able to photosynthesize. Not only these as the similarities, but also both seeds and fruits originate from the fertilized ovule and the ovary. I mean, the seeds developed from fertilized ovule, whereas the the fruits developed from the fertilized ovary. So the key similarity is all about fertilization. All of them originate from the process of fertilization. This is for the sexual reproduction. Remember, we are looking at sexual reproduction. However, we may be able to also cite examples of fruits that do not originate from fertilization. But this particularly is for sexual reproduction, and so that is it. Next is both of them also play a very crucial role in plant reproduction. We know that if we pick the seeds, they are the one which carries the embryo, which embryo is the one that actually germinates to grow into a new independent plant. However, as already cited, that the fruits have stored nutrients which can be in form of sugars. If we pick examples like mangoes, there are those that that may be having large quantity of proteins. For example, if you pick the beans, that attracts the dispersers. At the end of the day, the benefits conferred by dispersal will be obtained by this. Plus, not only this, but also both the seeds and the fruits offer protection to the developing embryo. That is, if it is the seed, and also to some extent, the seeds gets protected. I mean, the fruits also protects the seeds. Generally, that is it. And then for now, lastly, we can talk about both seeds and fruits aiding in the dispersal of the plant's genetic material to new location. Where, for example, if I pick mango fruits from Germany during its peak season, and I take it to region where there are no mangoes, say around Kampala, then from such you realize that the genetic material of these plants gets dispersed. I mean, they go into a new location, and where um, such particular varieties are limited, then we are increasing the survival chances for these plants. With this, we can move to the next aspect, and that is nothing else but looking at the differences between seeds and fruits at a structural and functional level. And these are the facets of differences that we're looking at. If we pick the protective layer of the seeds, you realize that their seed is protect. I mean, the seeds, the inside content of the seed is protected by what we call the seed coat or the tester. But this is different in fruits because their outermost wall is sometimes called fruit wall or the pericarp. And for it, the pericarp is made up of three different layers or walls. This include the outermost, which is called the exocarp. Normally, it is the the hardest protective layer. Then from outside, from outside, and then we have the mesocarp. Normally, in most fruits that are edible, we eat the mesocarp, the common one that we eat. But of course, we also have the endocarp, and the endocarp practically is hard, normally hard in nature. If we pick the mango still as an example, then that had stony-like structure in the center of the seed of the mango fruit. I mean, is what we call the endocarp, and if it is for the avocado, similar, it is that hard con content in the center, around the center of the avocado fruit. And what are the seeds made up? The major contents that makes up the seed are the embryo, the sperm, and the seed coat. But then in the fruits, the fruits are made up of seeds that are normally enclosed within the pericarp. Remember, the pericarp is made up of all these three layers. Not only these as differences, but also the seeds are normally smaller than the fruits. Or we say generally, we're not meaning that they are the same. I mean, in all types of fruit, they're the same. No. But if we look, we compare the seeds, which are generally smaller than the fruits, you realize that the fruits are generally bigger, although their sizes vary even from the same plant. And how are they formed? You realize that the seeds are formed from fertilized ovule, whereas the fruits are formed from fertilized ovary. And that is very core for us to take note of. We can proceed a little bit. I'm going to take off my video so that whatever is displayed down there, you'll be able to see it because I'm going to display it down there. Yeah, so let's proceed with this work. The next differences between the seeds and fruits are the how the embryos develop. So the seed provides the necessary nutrients and the protection for the development of the embryo, whereas for the fruits, it protects the seeds and often facilitates the seed dispersal. What are we saying in other words? In other words, we're trying to say that the embryo develops from nutrients that are provided by the seed. The fruits do not provide nutrients for the development of the embryo. No. Then the other difference is germination. The seeds germinate and then they produce a new independent plant. Do fruits germinate? Do they have an embryo? No. The fruits don't have any. They do not have embryo, and since they do not have embryo, they do not germinate. But only their significance is that they attract dispersers that will make the seed to be dispersed from one point to another. Then the last difference that I'm going to look at is the dispersal mechanism. What are we saying? We are saying that seeds may rely on various mechanisms or means. For example, seed can be dispersed by wind, can be dispersed by animals or water. But that is not the case if we pick the fruits. In most fruits, meaning not all, still there are exceptions that may also need may be dispersed through all those. Otherwise, mostly the fruits attract dispersers using their color, their taste, and their aroma. A typical example of those fruits that have very nice aroma that attracts dispersers is the jackfruit. The jackfruit once it is ripened really, You will smell it from very far, and that attracts not only you but also other dispersers. Of course, you're also one of the dispersers. Um, this is where I want us to end this first lesson, looking at just comparing seeds with fruits. The next time we meet, we're going to have a look at dispersal and its importance to the plants. And we know the plants are important to us. And because of that, it means we shall, in other words, also look at it as if we're looking at the importance of dispersal to us. Catch you later. Catch up with you later.